Greetings to all on this Pentecost Sunday, and the peace be with you. It's hard to think that this is our 10th Sunday and we won't be able to meet together in church. This last week I've been speaking with other clergy from this area via the computer, of course, and we've been sharing different ways in which we're trying to keep in touch with our congregations. We're all doing different things, but from the response I've had from talking to many of you, this seems to be working quite well. Today, being the 7th Sunday after Easter, we celebrate the feast of Pentecost, when we commemorate the Holy Spirit descending on the apostles and those other followers whilst they were still in Jerusalem. This Sunday is often referred to Whit Sunday, and if we're in church, the church will be decorated in red to represent joy and the fire and the Holy Spirit. On this day of Pentecost, we have two very familiar readings. The first is once again from St John's Gospel, chapter 20, verses 19 to 23. In this reading, we've gone back in time a little to when Jesus was first resurrected, and he appeared to his disciples in the upper room. He greets them with the words that we still use every Sunday in church. Peace be with you. They, of course, are thrilled to see their friend Jesus again. And again he says to them, Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you. Then we read how he breathed upon them and told them to receive the Holy Spirit. This is a foretaste of what they and all believers would receive from the time of Pentecost and forever after. As you know, to do God's work, we need more than just our own strength, and God offers to each of us his gift of strength and guidance through the Holy Spirit. If you remember, in the creation story from the book of Genesis, God made a man, but he didn't come to life until God breathed into him. And God, through the Holy Spirit, has breathed into each of us to bring us alive and for him to be with us. Our second reading is from the book of the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 2, verses 1 to 21. And it explains what happened to the apostles and the other believers when they received the Holy Spirit. God certainly made his presence known in a big way by using a raging wind, fire and the Holy Spirit. Like the early believers, we can all pray that the Holy Spirit will fill us, and it might come in ways like they experienced, but we may also receive it in that still small voice. I have included a prayer to help you to pray for the Holy Spirit to fill and refresh you again. The apostles, receiving the gift of the Holy Spirit, were filled with passion and excitement to go out and spread the good news. St. Peter is a great example of how the Spirit can move you. He got up and preached to a large crowd of people in Jerusalem, the very place where Jesus had just been crucified. About 3,000 Jews believed his words, and this is how the Christian church began. This is probably what Jesus was referring to when he said he would build his church on Peter, the rock. Prior to meeting Jesus, Peter was a fisherman on the Sea of Galilee. And today there's a beautiful Franciscan church on the banks of the sea at a place called Tabgha, commemorating the spot where Jesus makes Peter the chief among apostles. Inside the church there's a large limestone rock in front of the altar, which is thought to have been the place where Jesus laid out the breakfast of bread and fishes for the apostles. It's also the place where it is thought that Jesus said to Peter, "Feed my sheep," after the miraculous catch. The words Mensa Christi that you will see in one of my photographs are Latin for the table of Christ. A little further north there is another church which is built over the home of St. Peter. The church is raised and has a glass floor, so the foundations of the house can still be seen. St. Peter had an interesting life after meeting Jesus. We know he stepped out of the boat and walked on the water. He agreed to cast out his net and pulled in the miraculous catch. He attacked the official in the Garden of Gethsemane, cutting off his ear. And he was the first disciple to realise that Jesus really was divine. And yet Peter is most famous for denying Jesus. Peter's sermon to the crowd at Pentecost is often overlooked, but this was his time to share everything that he had learnt from his time with Jesus, and the Holy Spirit gave him the power. From his words, the church was born, and it has continued ever since, because of people like him, ordinary people who love God and are excited to share what they know with others. Don't be afraid to be like Peter and speak out about the God that you know, trusting that the Holy Spirit is always with you. To close, I guess you've heard a lot about virtual things. Virtual meetings, virtual gatherings, virtual coffee mornings, parties, and lots of other virtual things. Well, thanks to a lovely parishioner, I now have a virtual church. I'd like to show it you. And when you turn it to the bottom, the name of this church is actually St. Mary's.